Hello, everyone. Welcome to Total War Rally Point Live. Now, I'm going to start off with a question that I've asked maybe 400 times over the last month. Can you hear me? And can you, more importantly, see me? I'm seeing a few hey Joshes in the chat, so I'm going to take that as a yes. Thank you to the one person who said no. My blood pressure has spiked. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rally Point Live. If you missed our last stream, it's been about 2 years, so I don't blame you, and I won't hold it against you. But we're back. We're here. We're streaming. And we're going to kick something off with a new format that hopefully we hope to do every few weeks. So before we dive into that, I want to introduce my co-host for this live stream. That is the wonderful Steve, who you should be able to see now. Steve,
Yay!
say hello.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all.
Now, what may
Nice to
they
see
also
you.
know you as, Steve?
You will also know me as King Gobbo, CA King Gobbo, if you don't know who I am from some of the videos that I've been in, the What's Next videos, for example, and things like that.
You wanna? It's just because for some people it's maybe the first time they've seen you if they missed a little bit about who you are, what you do here.
Yeah, I am a senior community manager on Total War, and you'll see me across all our channels, posting stuff, talking to people, putting things out. You'll see my name on blogs, you'll see my name on videos, and yeah, I like to sit here and listen to you guys talk about our game.
There we go. Thank you very much, Steve. For those of you who don't know me, I am Josh. You can see my name on the screen there. I've run our content creator program for the last 5 years. I've been at CA for the last 8. Uh, if you are a real deep cut Total War enjoyer, you may recognize me from 7 years ago, the Total War Arena live streams. So shout out to the people there if they do. But otherwise, this is the first time I think either of us have gone live in quite a while for Total War. So thank
Yeah, I
you.
think the only live thing I've done has been some of the Q&As that we did, but we
Oh yeah.
haven't done that for quite a while on Discord, yeah. But fortunately for those ones, people didn't have to look at my face. And now you get both.
Face and voice. It's the
Yeah,
miracle of the internet.
I know, it's technology these days.
Well, here I think on screen they can see now. We've got the format for this stream. So for this time, we're doing this month in Total War. So we're going to kick off things with about 45 minutes of me and Steve chatting through some of the stuff in the community. We're going to answer some of the questions that we've seen, and just talk through some of the stuff that's gone on in the last month. And then after that, we're going to jump into a developer showcase where Milcho is going to talk to us about sieges and the improvements made there for the proving grounds. And I'm going to attempt to play the game live and show off some of those changes too. So while we begin, let's talk about the most prevalent point. We're streaming. We're back.
Woohoo!
Lovely to be here. Lovely to have us. Did take a little bit of setup again. We had to dust off some of the old microphones. What you're looking at right now is a Total War Rally Point live. So you'll commonly see myself and Steve here for these rally points. These are the moments where we really want to connect with you guys and have a really kind of full coming together of the community. It's where we're going to be previewing stuff that's coming up. So we'll probably be doing a rally point live for the next patch when that's ready. We'll show some of that off there. And any kind of other major updates to the game, we'll be doing a rally point live. The weekly programming that you can expect from us will just be a Total War live. So that could be playing with a developer. So next week, next Thursday, the plan is from 3 till 5, myself and Will Hackerstad, who did a lot of the work on 6.2, will be here. We'll be chatting about 6.2, some of the stuff that's gone on there. Probably be talking about some of your impressions from the Proving Grounds. But that'll be your kind of regular programming. So every 4 to 6 weeks, a Rally Point live like this. We're going to start on a high, hopefully, Steve.
Well,
So,
fingers crossed.
if you're happy to, how about Mr. Community? You take us through some of the stuff that's happened this month in the.
Yes, let's do it. So let's have a little look back at what we've done in the last month. Lots of nice patches and hotfixes. So for those of you who have been hiding under a rock recently, we released patch 6.2 a while back. This included a rework of the magic item system. So we had some rarity kind of tier rebalancing, smarter item drops. So the drop rate, for example, was reduced. It wasn't random anymore. The drop rate that you got for items would be more focused on things that you are actually using and things you've already got. Fusing items, for example, were changed. You could, for example, fuse 2 rare items to create a unique item, things like that. We had a couple of new units as well, the Hobgoblin Bolt Thrower and the Blood Knights, which were both very much enjoyed by people. and some new magic items, which included the 8 burning books of corn.
Oh yeah,
And we are going to mention them a
we'll be
couple of
talking
times
about that
today.
later.
Yes, exactly. So we'll get to that later. And then following on from that, in our fortunately quite quick kind of process of getting hotfixes out that we've been focusing on to kind of keep this stuff churning, we had hotfix 6.2.1, which was mainly focused on quality of life improvements, balance changes, and some of those were particularly focused on books of corn. So, kind of when we put out new things like that, we like to listen to your feedback and make tweaks. Things that we notice, might not be quite balanced. We like to look at those things and kind of make those fixes as quick as we can to make things as good as we can, really. We also added a nice little thing, the ability to switch off the Realms of Chaos introductory video. So, making it quicker for you to jump into the action, which is nice. And then following on from that, we did hotfix 6.2.2. So we had improvements to Warriors of Chaos AI and how they prioritize their military buildings. So like their construction choices would make more sense. We had some improvements to performance, some skills and buildings, things like that. The kind of thing that you'd expect and hope to see in hotfixes and these kind of patches. And a flipping hefty chunk of battle balance
Oh yeah,
updates. A lot of battle balance updates.
68 pages, I think it wasn't.
It was a lot. That's all I will say. It was a lot. Yeah, someone had to type all that out. So following on from all of this, which thanks for your feedback on these, and I'm glad that these things have landed well with you guys. We had our release update log for Tides of Torment, which went out. So for those of you, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of the situation with this. But the general gist here is that Tides of Torment, the next DLC for Total War Warhammer 3, is delayed from its initial summer release to later in the year. So there will be more info, obviously, coming on about this along the next kind of few weeks and months, etc. But the reason being that the development team want to ensure the quality of this DLC meets the standards that we and you want it to. So, alongside this reveal of this delay, we did reveal the third faction, which, for those of you, spoiler alert, if you haven't wanted to find out yet, is High Elves. Which also means that now that we've revealed that, we will be telling you guys more information about the new faction, but that will be coming a little bit later. The What's Next video, the third one in our series, is coming a little bit later, which will shed more light and look in more detail at this third faction for High Elves. So keep an eye out for that. We also gave a little bit of an insight into the things you can expect from us in between, or things that we're also working on. So one of those things you're going to be talking about later is the siege improvements with the Proving Grounds. So stay tuned for that. We also looked at update 6.3. And update 6.3 is coming. I believe we're aiming for August, towards the end of August for that. Which will have some quality of life improvements for Tomb Kings, Lizard Men, some revisions to some starting traits and skills for Orcs and Goblins. In September, we're hoping to do more hotfixes after 6.3, so you can keep an eye out for more of those kind of balance tweaks and things like that. And then the main focus of what we're working on is going to be shifting on to Tides of Torment, so you can then start seeing a big kind of uptick in what we're talking about with Tides of Torment. We are also looking into a few extra little bits and pieces. For example, the developers are open to exploring the possibility of smaller DLCs, perhaps in the future, for single lords or units,
Seen some chat
depending
about that
on.
in the chat as well. Some people.
Yeah, so that's something that's always being looked at, and we're looking at the potential to do things like that to make the offering that we're giving you as customized to what you want it to be, really.
Yep.
We're always listening to the feedback that you guys give us. I know sometimes we can be a bit quiet, and I know that's frustrating. It's frustrating for us because we love to talk. Like me and Josh love to talk.
Okay.
We all do. But we do listen to what you guys are saying. We take it on board. We feed it back to the right places. So hopefully we can continue this process of just making things as good as they can be for you guys. Really.
Absolutely. And
Um,
so someone in the comments even called that out, Steve, saying they want to see more DLC faster and please, and we absolutely know like the community want more DLC. Part of the why it's so painful to do those kind of plays, right? We want to get it out there, we want you to play it, but we want it to be a quality level we're happy with. out there.
Exactly. And like I say, we love talking about this stuff, and like the what's next videos are one of the most fun things I've done since I started here at CA, and I'm loving doing them, and I can't wait to keep doing more of them. And I want to have more to tell you guys. I want to have stuff to give you. If I could be giving you guys news all the time, I would be. But we want to make sure that we're doing the right things behind the scenes as well.
Yep, absolutely.
We want you to love it.
The second side of this is some people saying less DLC, more fixes to the base game, and we're
what do we do?
Well, what do we do?
Who
Hopefully,
maybe
we do a siege proving grounds to try and make some core improvements to the sieges at the same time.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be great if we did that?
And we haven't got that on this slide, unfortunately, on the news and updates slide, because we're going to be talking about it a lot more later.
Yeah.
So I'm being told by chat, and I can see it, that my mic is cutting in and out, and I'm being told by my producer to just keep talking while he tries to address it. So I'm going to do everything I can to try and keep talking.
If you can hear me, I'm just going to crack on with the last little bits from this. Absolutely. And then I've got a little bit of extra information to give you guys regarding one of these topics. So additional bits from this blog, from our release update blog, is we are working on, or there will be, we are planning to put out a major content pack next year, which will be one of the largest for the Warhammer trilogy. That's all I can tell you for now, but that's something to look forward to next year, so keep your eyes open for that. Regular weekly live streams on Twitch and YouTube or something. I don't know when we're doing that. When are we doing that, Josh? I don't know.
I'll tell you what, though.
I hope so.
If anyone in the chat has ideas, gimmicks, like things you want to see on those streams, come to me and state that to us.
Yeah.
We're up for mod of the month. We gave us mod potentially back. So anything you guys want to see.
I kind of want to bring back the cooking streams and stuff like that. I really would love to.
Problem is, I will try hard. I'm upset when I come last.
Yeah. I think there's an award in place for that as well, though, right? Like, you've got to take something positive away from that situation as well.
Give me a thumbs up.
I can see Rip Mike.
Who?
No, poor guy. Okay. In that case, I'll tell you what Josh says.
You're going to relay it live. It's going to
work so well. I'm going to relay what Josh says.
Oh, this is awful. This fair ending.
Don't worry. I'll let them work on their stuff. So, since you can hear me perfectly, thanks, Modiddle, we have got a fun little segment coming up after this before we get onto the siege stuff. Just something little looking at the community. But before we get onto that, I just wanted to address something with you guys regarding what we put out in the release update, was specifically to Lizardmen and Tomb Kings. Now, I know there's been a lot of chatter. We've seen a lot of chatter around this and around Lizardmen and Tomb Kings and what we're going to do to them, sharing your expectations, your hopes, your dreams, and all that. I want to clarify, these are not going to be full reworks for Lizardmen and Tomb Kings. These updates are going to be focused on quality of life improvements in 6.3, aiming for these races to kind of improve their core experience. So we want to look at things, we're looking at things like tech trees, bringing them in line with some of the other races in terms of power, rebalancing, new effects, things like that. Buildings, hero recruitment and rank that you can get from these buildings, bringing them in line with some of the other races. For Tomb Kings, there's going to be a new minor feature that they're aiming to put in as well. There's more to share on that nearer the time, because obviously we'll put a blog out and you'll get more info about that. For Lizardmen, there's some new blessed units alongside some other improvements as well that are being looked at there. Bug fixes and tweaks. I know they don't sound exciting, but those things under the hood you may not realize affect the gameplay with these specific races, but that's something that we're looking at, all to be discussed nearer the time, but with the aim of making Lizardmen and Tomb Kings experiences more fun and engaging in general. But yeah, just to clarify, they're not full reworks to like the level that you've recently seen with Kislev, for example. So I just wanted to put that out there and let you guys know, just to quell craziness. Yeah, because I know you guys be crazy.
I see a lot of people saying the words geomantic web. I don't think a rework of the geomantic web is within the current.
That's not within the scope of this. No,
the QO update, but it's. No. I mean, we're fully aware. If everyone in the chat's saying it, don't you worry. We're fully aware of what you guys are talking about there.
Yeah, people have heard the words geomantic web, so yeah, we'll see. what can be done. It's being
Brilliant.
looked at, and we'll see.
And hopefully people can hear me a little bit more now as well. I'm getting eyes from the producer, so that's
I can hear Josh, and I forgot that I was meant to be relaying what he was saying. So I'm hoping that you guys aren't
okay.
fine.
I'm hearing I'm a little low. I've turned myself up, so we'll see if that's a little bit better. Look, you see, I have the power to do that.
I can hear you louder, that's for sure. I'm deaf now.
Okay. Well, there we go, much better. I'm sure in a couple of seconds I'll be told I'm way too loud.
Teething problems, guys. Teething problems. It's the first time we've done this in a long time.
I mean, the best bit is that while all of this was happening, I had my mum text me. It went through on my watch saying how handsome I looked on stream. So thanks to my. At least we know we got one viewer.
How sweet. To finish off on what I was just saying there, do keep giving us your feedback about these things. So things like Lizardmen and Tomb Kings, give us your feedback. Let us know what you think. As we've said, I don't want to flog a dead horse here, but feedback.
Yep.
One of my famous quotes. We do continue to listen, and we're open to listening to what you say, and we just want to make the game really good, man. We want you to love it.
Absolutely.
And,
well, I mean, speaking of Steve, if we're talking about listening to the player feedback, community feedback, do we want to move on to our next section?
Do it. And I know you've been looking forward to telling people the name of this.
I have been looking forward to this for a very long time. All right, guys. So we want to really prove to you how much we listen to you and how much we take in that feedback. So welcome to our new section of the stream called We Read It. I thought thank you, Steve.
Well done, Josh.
I was waiting for a laugh track or something like that.
It.
So what we've done is we've taken the top posts of the month from these two community areas. So from Reddit, we read it, and from the forums, just both of them getting an equal amount of love. So we're going to start by talking through some of the top posts of the forums. I'll go for it.
Obese Chicken 14 has kind of nailed it. You should have called it We Read It, but actually spelt it Reddit.
I was going to, but the forums. We can't. It can't be we read it /forumed it, can it?
We'll work, guys. We'll work on it.
We'll work on it.
We'll brainstorm.
I want to be completely honest about it. So there are things we can discuss. There are things we can't discuss. So what we will discuss is the top posts from the forums and the subreddit over the last month. I'll clarify. We're occasionally going to say the wrong thing in response to these, but if we do, we'll do our best to correct it later. Things we can't discuss are leaks or speculation. We can't discuss anything created to provoke or harass individuals. We're not going to talk about content creator drama. We can't talk about IP-focused stuff or stuff about our IP partner. We are going to mostly avoid memes because I think we will ruin them by acknowledging them. It's like, when your parents start using slang. I think it'd be a bit like that if we were showing memes up on here. But if a meme really makes me laugh, I may include it on here. And we'll avoid if it looks like anyone's kind of hijacked the subreddit to try and force something up to the top to get upvotes. We'll probably cut that one out.
Vaughn, Greasus Lightning was genius. Can I just say? I just put that out. The Greasus Lightning was fantastic.
Well, let's start off with the forums. So, talking about the 8 Books of Corn, as we promised.
Again?
They 8 of them. They're going to keep coming back up, and there's a lot to read. So this thread was really just talking about how much they enjoyed it. There were some calls in there for a hotfix. I think that's the hotfix we then made. So I went and spoke to the developer behind the 8 Books of Corn. I shared this feedback with them. I had a little chat with them about kind of how much you guys enjoyed it. And I'm not going to read this out like a statement, but I've got some notes from them on things about this that they wanted to share. So things like the unusual locations, new items like the 8 Books of Corn, and other kind of slightly smaller features are what we've spoken about in blogs and stuff a while back. Oh, I'm having my volume prodded. They just want to keep adding stuff to the game in the vein of world building. So they want to keep making the world feel more alive. They want more stuff going on in between the standard turn-to-turn gameplay. So if people keep being positive about it, we can keep pushing to do stuff like this. A little note on that, in patch 6.3, they are looking at adding a good number more unusual locations, I think around 20. So more of those, I think, for a wider variety of factions as well. See more of them coming. Players, you guys seem to really love it, so we'll keep trying to make it.
Nice.
It looks like as well, the chat do in fact love it, so we will keep trying to make it.
Awesome.
And when we do, in a month and a bit time, probably a 6.3 rally point, we'll go through a few of those live.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good example. Like you said, this is a good example of showing you that, you know, when we see feedback from you guys on these things, we do our best to act on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah.
Well, should we go to a slightly more grotesque top post of the month? It was just someone posting the Nightmare animation. We saw a lot of love and definitely some confusion about the Nightmare animation. I think you were part of the little crisis squad, Steve, of us all
Yes.
going, "Oh
Hang a
no,
minute.
people don't know what this is." I will say we absolutely get now that context is needed when we share these kinds of like animations that aren't a thing that you would typically expect them to be. So we've noted that going ahead. What I've got written down here as my note for this is the easiest way we did end up comparing it to was it's like Wulfric's Sea Fang ability. I've then got added a developer note of like Wulfric's Sea Fang ability, brackets, as it is currently implemented, potentially not as it will be implemented going forward. So think of it like Wulfric's current Sea Fang ability. That's how it works. But love that you guys loved the animation. It is horrible. I don't really want it on the screen too much longer. Do you have any thoughts on the Nightmare, Steve?
Other than the fact that it's just grotesquely fantastic, when we do these things like these animations and things like that, this is something that we have a little look through, like a kind of not a repository, but just like a lot of these things that are being worked on, and try and pick the things that just look either funny,
yep,
interesting, like impressive, or gross. And it will, like, now we've learned obviously from providing context, but it could be something different every time. It won't always specifically be a unit or a legendary lord or something like that. It could be like a skill or ability or something like that. But we'll make sure that we let you know so that it doesn't happen again.
Exactly. Okay, next up.
I really love, by the way, Josh, that you are lifting up the clicker.
Oh, I meant to be hiding. I got
it's like you're lifting it up to show people, look at me, I've got a clicker.
I'm so excited about getting this clicker, and it was meant to be so that I could do it all subtly, and I clearly clearly ruined the illusion.
He's actually standing in a big boardroom in front of all of the top people at CA.
Everyone's watching live. So this is a tough one. Because this is, for those of you who can't read it, this is someone just being very optimistic. Let's manifest together for major July happenings, which, you know, with the July happenings that happened, feels like a bit of a downturn. It's one of the biggest threads of the month. We would be remiss and it would be wrong if we didn't include this in a community recap. For those of you who can't read at the speed of light, it is, as I say, optimism that we were releasing at the end of July. And the timetable they've got there isn't miles off of what we would have been originally planning for. But unfortunately, as Steve said, you know, we did have to delay. I guess I wanted to bring this up here just to say, like, we do see posts like this. We chat about them internally. We know that the silence is large, but it does take time for us to come with a proper response, and not just to write that up in text, but in terms of following our own internal processes. We don't want to promise things or announce things that would then end up changing again because they're not fully locked in. However, when we do communicate, like you guys saw with the month-by-month roadmap, we do want to make sure that when we do communicate, we're telling you everything we currently can, and everything that we can to help cover that silence and bridge that gap. Exactly. And we want to be more consistent in communicating between those big blog announcements, which is why I'm sat here today, right?
Yep. This is something that wasn't on the list.
No, it wasn't.
Live streams, right?
It's going to be, you know, every week we're going to show up for you guys. We're going to have conversations. We're going to read chat. I say every week, you know, up until the day that someone can't do it, then we skip a week and then I get told off because I promised weekly. But as many weeks as we can, we'll be doing it here at least once a week. So we will be here and we'll be chatting. So hopefully the silence doesn't feel as loud going forward. Hopefully, you know, if it feels like we're dropping communication, you can come and tell me that it feels like we've dropped communication, and that in itself is picking that back up. Right. Shall we move on to Reddit?
Yeah, do it.
The namesake. Right. This is going to be a brutal one to start off with, Steve.
You flick the screen and the whole screen just explodes.
Okay. So, this guy is doing a better job at celebrating 25 years of Total War than a multi-million-dollar company. I'll first off say I used the Great British Pound. That's point number one. But secondly, yes, absolutely, like, these posts were fantastic, and this Crayon is taken was doing a great job of celebrating our titles.
Yeah.
What I want to call out is this is totally fair with what you guys have currently seen. You know, what you haven't seen, but what you will soon be seeing, though, is that starting next month, we have got posts, video retrospectives, and streams celebrating all of our different titles. So we'll be starting off, I think it's mid-August, with Shogun, and that'll be Shogun as an era, not Shogun 1 as the title. So we'll celebrate Shogun 1, Shogun 2. And what we'll be doing is we'll be moving through the different historical eras in, I'm going to say, mostly chronological order. I'm pretty sure Roman medieval are switched because developer availability. So don't immediately call us out saying that we've got our order wrong. I think we had to switch them for the developer, but mostly,
if you think about actual chronologically,
but you know what, Steve,
Rome did come before medieval.
Oh, there you go. But like, this is, I think, why these streams are nice, because we can put this out there now that we're not idiots, right? We know the order our game's released in. But yeah, that one's just swapped around a bit. The videos in particular, I think, are going to be really, really great little insights. I got to record the one for Rome 1, and I learned things about that game I didn't know. Some of the behind the scenes stuff was absolutely crazy. So we'll see what made it through the editing. But I think they're even talking about, because we spoke for so long, maybe doing like a behind the scenes or like an extended cut of those. We'll see where those come about. But absolutely fascinating how those games came together. I think you recorded one as well, didn't you?
I haven't done one for this now.
Oh, that's a shame.
No. But I'm going to hopefully do some more stuff down the line.
Yeah.
So
I think I saw some people as well in the chat maybe talking about the tier lists themselves. That is one of the top Reddit posts of the month, so we will be getting to the tier list as well. Don't you worry, we have our own thoughts on that.
Yeah. And for those of you that are scared that I'm not going to be doing videos anymore, I had kids, so I was off for a while. That's why I'd suddenly disappeared. So don't worry, you're not getting rid of me yet. Sorry.
Again, though, another reason why the streams will be useful, just to confirm Steve hasn't been fired.
I am alive. Yes.
Next up, we've got, with Hiles confirmed, it's time to give them phalanx. So some of the comments under this post, I really would shout out. They are very funny. So Futurama references, 300 references. I did put them up on screen originally, but again, I felt like I was the uncool dad trying to explain to my kids what a joke is. The main one being a staunch line of spears, which very funny. So to take this post seriously, though, I don't know if it was upvoted so people can make the jokes, or upvoted because the idea of giving the phalanx. I did speak to devs seriously. The response I got back is that it would take a fair amount of animation rigging work to get that to work. We don't have that spare at the moment, but the idea is logged. We know it's something you guys would like to see. If it's really something you'd like to see, more discussion on it is great. It really helps us to understand where that thing goes within that priority order. It's just I really think I'm going to start saying things inaccurate, Steve. But I think it's the way that the animation, the actual models are set up, would require a fundamental change to how they're rigged, so that they could do that kind of animation.
It sounds legit enough. Just roll with it.
Yeah. So it's all game talk. But if that is the case, it then becomes a balancing act of how much you guys really want to see that versus how much work that would take, and finding the middle ground there. Next up, it's not technically a meme, so I felt okay to include it. I can't believe they made the game into a real place. Am I right, Steve?
I know.
Very funny.
It's making big inspirations in the world.
It is. Well,
my question about this was, did this guy go there for the photo op? Or was he in there? Was he there and just went, oh, I might as well take a photo?
I like to think,
because if he went there for the photo op,
yeah,
that's dedication.
It could be that they went on Google Chrome and they were really struggling as Carl Franz. So Altdorf was being sieged, right? And they're like, God, I can't do this. So they Googled Altdorf help. And they saw a Google Maps location, and they were like, oh, clearly this person will teach me how I can defend Altdorf from the Greenskin hordes. They went all the way over here, realized they can't speak the language, and finally visited their true home. But we hope you had a nice trip. I think that's what we really have to say with this. And let's talk about the big fun one. So the unit tier list. I think, Steve, you actually put a little social post out with this as well.
Yeah, like quite early on. Like, unfortunately, I didn't get to do more with it because it was around the same time that we were putting out the release update post, and I didn't want to, if we put out news, because we don't know always, to give you a bit of insight into like how we think about these things. Like when we put out communications like the release update, we always have the best of intentions. with
Yeah.
all of this. We want to be open with you, like we say we're going to be, but we also don't know how you guys are going to react. We don't know whether you guys are going to be happy about that and willing to wait, or if you guys are going to be like crazy upset about it. So I didn't want to go out there being like, hey, look at these little videos of these units celebrating these units, when you know it wasn't a great time.
Yeah.
But I did do one for the Cretan archers.
Yep.
And that was fun because I got to basically jump into Rome Remastered and create a video of just some archers shooting, and that was really fun. And I really wanted to do it for every single game. Maybe I still will, just for fun.
Oh yeah. What, go through
Yeah,
and retroactively make one for every one of them?
yeah, and just make one. Yeah, so all of these units. Like I wanted to do one with some of the general's bodyguards.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to. I basically like did a doom stack of them, and I wanted to get them kind of basically just mass charging into a bunch of units.
Yep.
So
I mean, I think
I'm
the
still going to do it.
the one for me that was the guaranteed winner was the Yari Ashigaru. I think anyone who's played Shogun 2 knows they are absolutely the GOAT unit of Shogun 2.
Yeah, 100%.
I see though, very sadly, and do you know what? I've seen some people mentioning it in chat of Bring Back Arena. It's as Arena is a game very close to my heart, so you know I'll code it one letter a day. But it has a tombstone there because I think the top comment was I didn't play it and it died before I got the chance to.
Oh.
So I went and asked some of the developers what their GOAT unit of Total War Arena was. Arena went through a lot of phases because it was like live balance. So it's hard to pinpoint one exact moment of, oh, this is the GOAT unit. Some things that were suggested though, hiding stakes in the long grass and using a catapult, for those who remember that was awful to play against. Dogs were very strong before people figured out how to counter them. Fun fact, using war dogs was the first time I ever played a game on stream, and I did that at Gamescom live, and I got killed in maybe 2 minutes. Arena being a 10v10 multiplayer game, I had to sit there and spectate a game live on stream while I was meant to be playing. Very embarrassing. Beyblade
dropping you in at the deep end.
Oh, very much. It was like my third week at the company. Beyblade pikes, which to you, Steve, will sound very fun. It was you could get pikes and then you could just start spinning them and you could put a buff on them so they would just keep spinning really fast. And pikes just killed anything they touched. I remember that pike guy from the Arena community had an absolute kind of chokehold on people. Whenever they saw him in a game and they knew there was pikes, we were in real trouble. I think the right answer, unfortunately, is probably the tier 5 elephant, Cirrus. It was absolutely absurd because no one could really counter an elephant at tier 5, but all of the elephants were very strong. I assume you don't have many Total War Arena thoughts, Steve. I think it was just a bit before your time.
It was before my time, and I hadn't kind of had the opportunity, even prior to working here. I hadn't played it. So when I got here, people were like Total War Arena, and I was like, what? And then,
you missed out.
I've learned some stuff since then, but yeah, unfortunately, I missed out on that fun.
Yeah, I mean, I may have mentioned it, but I joined the company for Total War Arena. I love that game with all my heart. In fact, if you look it up, you'll see me nearly crying on a live stream where I have to tell the community that it's coming to an end. So I need
to find this.
That is the last stream that I did for this company. So here we are, back on a more positive note.
Yeah.
I actually spoke in another note about it. I spoke about the stuff that we're doing next month with all of the game celebrations. Obviously, Total War Arena, we can't boot it up and play it. But I am trying to see if we can do, like in the old days, a war room with some of the developers. It would take some planning. It would take a minor miracle to be able to do, just to get some stuff to actually talk about and show you guys for an hour. But we'll see if that happens. It'd be nice if we could do something like that. Then the last war room isn't me almost in tears. It's the developers getting to talk about the stuff that they were working on before it got shut. Yeah,
exactly.
Cool. Well, Crayon has taken. If you happen to be listening, then you're welcome to put Cirrus, the tier 5 elephant, in the grave there. That would be the official, not official recommendation, my official recommendation, as official as I can get. But
and watch this space as I gradually go through and create some little video clips of all of these units. Yeah,
that will be lovely. I look forward to watching you boot up Shogun 1. It was genuinely one of the first PC games I ever played, Shogun 1, and I hit such a difficulty wall with it. So I have never gone back to it really as an adult, but I like to think I still wouldn't be able to beat that difficulty wall.
Yeah, you're a true veteran of the cause, aren't you? There.
Well, I think that kind of is bringing us to the end of our community section. So we have 5-6 minutes left if we want to see if there's anything in the chat that they're interested in talking about, or anything going on that's that they want to respond to with the stuff we've been talking about. I think just to emphasize, for those of you who came in later, the community catch up here and the war rooms that were the rally point we're doing now, this isn't the kind of stream we're going to do every single week. This is, sorry, I can see myself falling off the camera as I get more and more casual.
Come back, Josh. Come back.
Goodbye. This isn't the kind of stream we're going to be doing every week. We hope to do these every 4 to 6 weeks. We are going to try and answer the big questions in the community that we see popping up. Most weeks you're going to see me sat here with a developer or a content creator or someone from the brand team to chat through what's going on. And that'll be starting next week. So we'll have someone sat here every Thursday chatting through something that's going on. One thing I was going to mention, but I didn't find a way to organically slip into conversation as well, is that as part of the celebrations, I was hoping to release a Twitch extension that I've been working on for 4 or 5 months. I say I've been working on it. I have paid someone to make a Twitch extension for us because I think it's something fun for us to have. Hopefully, within the next few patches or within a few hot fixes, we'll be able to release that. But that's something that we've been working on that hopefully you guys will enjoy with the creators on Twitch. It's got stuff like... I should know this. I'm the one who made it. It's got stuff like all of the legendary lords in the world being named after people from chat automatically. It's got being able to secretly vote on what events are going to come up for the streamer. And one other thing. I think it's going to be betting channel points on the outcome of a battle. So will it be Pyrrhic? Will it be? That's the current design at least. It may change. We'll show it to you live and with a little advanced peek when it is coming out. But we've been working on that for a few months. I had hoped to try and twin it with the DLC release, but I don't want you guys to have to wait longer than is necessary for us to get that made and see if we can put that out there.
Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing more about that, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I've been working on it since November last year, just in the background trying to get that done. But everything going on, and this has taken us about 4 weeks to get this room ready into a state where we can start to stream again. So
yeah, props to the whole team who have been involved in that.
Absolutely. If they're listening, honestly, which they will be, to check my mic levels, shout out to the content team. A huge amount of work done to this room. Someone's asking if that Twitch extension will be for public release. Absolutely. I actually started it 6 months ago. I only started planning to come to stream 3 months ago. So the plan was for it just to be to content creators, but hopefully now we'll be able to show it in a developer setting too.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I don't know how we're looking over with our contact in Sophia, but I think, Steve, unless you have any thoughts from the community to talk to the community about, then we can kind of wrap up there and start to move on to the Proving Grounds.
Yeah, I'm just going to repeat what I always repeat, which is, thanks in general. Just thanks for your feedback to the things that we've put out recently. Really glad that we've been able to make some positive change. We're always still listening, like I say.
Yep.
And I just, I'm not the only one here that really appreciates the positivity that we've heard from you guys, especially since we put out the release update as well. I know it's frustrating, this sort of stuff. Any kind of delay is frustrating, but hopefully it's going to be worth it for you, and you guys are going to see why. And we're going to give you another great DLC.
Yeah, absolutely. I will have one question for you before you leave. But before that, I see someone's been asking a lot about the gate bug. I think we'll chat to the developers about that rather than putting Steve on the spot and seeing if he can conjure up an answer, because they'll be coming up in a few minutes. Question was, Steve, what is your favorite Chaos God?
I don't know.
I'll answer first if you want a moment to think. You can tell by my background, I'm fully in Khorne. I play World Eaters on tabletop. I play Blades of Chaos on tabletop. I am massively a Khorne fan.
See, the problem that I've got is that I would have gone in with Khorne, but then I feel like it sounds like I'm copying you.
I used to collect Thousand Suns. Tzeentch. Tzeentch is my new answer. So you can take Khorne. And in the most Tzeentchian thing I could have done, I've tricked you into thinking that it was Khorne.
Now I'm going to give you guys some insight into me here quickly before we move on. Okay, I am very much a fan of history. When I started here, my knowledge of Warhammer was so tiny. I knew it existed, and I'd seen some minis, and I was like, "This is cool."
Mm.
I'm still learning, and I will continue to be learning for the foreseeable future. But yeah, I'm a history nerd, and my favorite era of history is probably medieval.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah,
Lots to learn
I'm a
about
big.
there as well.
Yeah, I've always been very much into it, and yeah.
Well, with your favorite chaos god being history, let's throw on
Life
over.
is chaos, and I'll say bye on that note.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us, Steve. We
Yeah, no,
are.
thank you guys.
I'll go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say thank you guys for putting up with me in our first live stream in a very long time.
And thank you to everyone for sticking through our mic issues and our audio issues. But yeah, hopefully you get the gist of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
Go.
Nice one. Over to Milcho. Have fun with him. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Steve. All right. Well, while we are setting Milcho up, it is just me and you guys. Hopefully you're enjoying our return to stream. As I said with Steve, please, if you guys have any ideas of things that you want to see us do, absolutely go for it. It'd be great to hear your ideas of things that you liked. I know that the CA versus the world was really popular. I am not brilliant at multiplayer. I tried and I tried to compete in a couple of tournaments and I did not do well. But I would happily go up against people. Someone said, Josh, will this stream be on YouTube afterwards? I believe we're streaming to the Total War Live channel. I'm getting the thumbs up. So yeah, it will be on YouTube afterwards. You'll find the VOD there. All of the VODs for all of our streams will be on the Total War Live channel. I think it's also called Total War Community. Another idea we had was an internal CA tournament. That was an idea from an employee. Oh, I'm getting the thumbs up to say my guest is ready and I don't have to keep vamping for time. Okay, so, Milcho, are you there?
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for
coming.
Thank
you. Yeah, nice to be here. And for those of you that don't know, I am Milcho. I am the lead battle designer in CA Sofia. I'm here to give you some updates on the next proving grounds that we're doing.
Brilliant, thank you. My first question was going to be, who are you and what do you do? So you've come in hot and you preempted me anyway. Thank you so much for joining us. So we're going to talk a little bit about the proving grounds you're working on. I think we'll start off with just finishing off the community section that we had there and talking about some of the reactions to the blog in particular. If we can go to the... Okay, we're going. There goes the smoke. There we go. So maybe you could chat us through the blog, some of the changes that you've made to Sieges.
Okay, yeah. So I'll give a brief walkthrough to the stuff that we have changed. First, and most importantly, you have to keep in mind that we've decided that this is going to be quite a big initiative to pretty much change the way sieges work and how they feel and how the battles there feel. So it will probably take more than just one patch to do something like this. But we wanted to make sure that we involve you guys basically from the start of it, from the very first steps that we take into improving this. And that's why we decided that we're going to do this proving grounds beta with even the first steps that we made to it. And one of the first and most important things that we decided we need to change about sieges is the removal of the so-called pocket ladders.
Yep.
And
I see one behind you there.
Yes, we will remove this one as well. Don't worry. And of course, a change like that, even though it might sound small to some of you, it can actually have a huge impact on the way Siege is played. So along with that change, we had to do a lot of other changes just so that we are able to support it. There are many reasons why we decided that this is the best place to start. But we felt like the two main ones are basically the gameplay and the immersion side of things, because we don't want Imperial units to just pull a ladder out of nothing and be able to climb walls anywhere. We wanted purely from gameplay perspectives to make sure that the walls are an important asset to the settlement. I mean, for some settlements, there is a separate building that you can do to just have walls and stuff around them. And it's very important that those are a vital defensive feature for those settlements. So this is where we started off, basically. From there on, of course, a lot of other changes needed to be done. First, most importantly, it's the whole battle AI, the pathfinding that also helps the battle AI find the best routes into the settlement. We needed to do a lot of changes to improve that, to make sure that the AI can handle both the attacking and the defensive side of things, that it can present a good challenge to the player in both cases. Of course, it's still not going to be perfect, but we have done a ton of changes for it. We will be listing those changes to be more precise about what exactly we have improved later on, I believe. I'm currently not exactly 100% sure where we're going to do that, but you will probably be able to see them sooner or later. A lot of them have stuff that is not exactly tied to the ladders, but is still things that could have been very important for some of the players, like the famous gate bug that got mentioned early on today.
Glad you brought it up.
I swear we've had 3 separate builds where we thought that we had removed that bug and it kept appearing. We'll see how it goes in the beta, but the gate bug, I do hope we have finally managed to tackle that one. But we have focused in it here more on stuff that is related to the removal of those ladders. And even stuff like just the pathfinding of the units to decide when it wants to go up a ladder compared to just go inside the gate and things like this. It is still something that we have worked on to make sure that that you can actually see in game and feel the improvement of it.
Absolutely.
With that in mind, we've made the removal of the ladders an option, just in case for those of you guys that don't want to play like that and prefer to just get on into the siege straight away, be able to fight the battles immediately, that sort of things. So it is an option that you can turn on and off. You can't do it in the middle of the battle. You need to do it before the battle itself starts. But you can do it throughout a campaign if you want. There is also an option for that in custom battles and multiplayer battles. If you want to play sieges there, you can also choose if you want to have ladders readily available or not.
Yep. I will say, so just for context of chat, Milcho can't see chat. I will pull out questions later on when we have that section, just so he can get all of the information out before you start asking about them. But you have just answered a lot of the questions in chat without even being able to see them, so that's fantastic.
There is one more thing that I really wanted to bring in and talk about, because, I mean, this is a beta build that we are going to be playing today, and Josh is going to be playing, and we are constantly updating it. And I know that in the blog, we talked about how we want to bring in a new siege equipment that you can actually build pre-battle that is basically ladders, and you can use them in the game and so on. And I actually have some happy news that we've been able to do a prototype for this beta indeed. So you will be able to test that basically immediately. The only caveat is that the current ladders that we are going to be using are a very placeholder model, and they're going to be the same for all factions. And we do have a very funny bug that happens when you try to get units to come down from the ladders. In the way they look and play their animations, but we are going to be fixing that relatively soon. But with that in mind, we'd also fix the bug where if units start climbing up ladders, they can never go down until all of them have climbed up, basically. And now you can actually order them to stop climbing and do something else if there is a need to. But yeah, just wanted to make sure you guys know that, because the information we provided on the blog
Yep.
was slightly outdated,
Yep.
and we weren't exactly sure if we would be able to do that for the beta, and that's why, just in case, we didn't add it there.
Yep.
But fortunately, it's going to be a thing.
I think just for context on that as well, so those blogs have to be localized, they have to be prepared, they have to be staged. So we try and write them with everything that's true at that exact moment in time, but there's obviously a little bit of a lag there, and things can change. I tell you what, Milcho. So we're just gonna go through a couple of these questions that were raised on Reddit. I've heard that actually the Corsair, the person who's got the top comment, is in the chat. So we're gonna be able to talk directly to them when we answer this one. So if it's all right with you, if you're happy with everything you've said so far about the siege stuff, we can move on to a couple of those questions, and then we can play the game.
Sure. I haven't talked really much about the other changes that they're supporting, like the battle app, because we needed to change attrition, the cost and stats of battle equipment,
Yep.
and siege towers and gates. I guess, again, all of this is to support the
Yep.
removal of the ladders, to make sure that the pace of the sieges doesn't change too much. They do not become a slog and
Yeah.
all that. But I don't need to go too much into details unless there are some specific questions, which, just like Josh said, I can answer later on. I can't really see them right now.
And we'll be able to talk about them live as well.
If you have any other questions about that, they have pretty much been listed on the blog, but you can ask away and I'll try my best to answer. So yeah, we can go on, talk about those Reddit posts, play the game, just show off the build and so on.
Brilliant. Well then, the top question we had by someone who apparently is here watching us live is, this would probably be too much work, but it would be amazing if some troops like spiders could climb walls and ghosts could go through them. This was actually a comment we also had in our Total War Content Creator Discord. Quite a few of them immediately kind of jumped on that idea.
I mean, it's a really fun idea. It's amazing to do that. And of course, it occurred to us.
Yeah.
And this is something we're actually actively looking to do. Now, I can't promise which are going to be the first units and so on. Ghosts sound amazing. This is going to be harder to do than, for example, Skaven or spiders climbing up walls. This is something we definitely are looking into. Now,
Brilliant.
again, this is going to slightly come up to my first point, that the changes to the sieges are going to take a lot more than just one patch. And some of the things that we envision for them are quite big, and that's why they're going to take more time.
Yep.
This is probably one of them, and we will see what we can do. But for now, we can't promise anything.
Yep.
We really want to see your feedback on the first changes we're doing, just to know if we are going in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly.
And what are going to be the more important bits when it comes to the gameplay. This, of course, is super fun. And we immediately started talking about what units can do and what kind of crazy stuff we can achieve. But yeah, we need to focus on what we are currently doing, just to make sure that it's the right way.
Exactly. We get the core experience right, and then we can add all of the fun flavor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Exactly. We didn't want to spend a year or even more working on stuff to make everything related to the sieges the way we envisioned it, just to be able to show it to the players, and then they don't like something in particular or don't like the direction of it or anything like that. So that's why we decided to divide it into smaller chunks, just so that we can include you more in the development of the game and how things work out there.
And that's the entire point of the proving grounds, right? Is to do things like that. You I think earlier you were saying that the ladders that we've gotten in as the deployables, they're probably not the final ones. But
definitely. The model is just a very, very basic. It doesn't even fit the Empire theme, even though I guess it's close. I guess, yeah, we are going to be making models for all the factions, just like siege towers and so on, or at least that's our intention right now.
Of course, if the proving grounds go well, and that's what people want to see. The second comment we had was about artillery on walls. I imagine it's possibly a similar answer of, it's something to look at, but it's not part of the initial core design.
Similar yet different. So the thing about the units being able to climb walls or go through them as ghosts and so on is something we're more actively looking into. The artillery on walls, we have talked about it, and it's currently in the wish to do at some point.
Yeah.
We are not currently actively doing anything about something like this, but it is a really good idea, and depending on how much more feedback we got on this. I know that players want a lot of that. I know that this has been a requested feature from Warhammer 1,
Yeah.
basically. And I do want to see my dwarven cannons all over the,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
walls and
I mean,
settlements.
that was in the very first trailer, wasn't it? Is what we get brought up
Absolutely,
a lot.
yes. Yes, absolutely. And it is an amazing idea. It's
Yep.
going to be a more fundamental change, though. And it's going to be much harder to do something like this. It's not completely out of the question,
Yep.
but I don't think it's going to be into the first or second beta that we are doing with some of the other changes that we've mentioned. We are looking to improve some other features before that.
Yep.
So yeah,
Brilliant.
stay tuned for this.
I think the last comment we'll focus on then before we move over is someone talking about siege attrition, saying siege attrition a bit is a sore subject, but they were happy to see the change, that they would be less susceptible to siege attrition in the early stages of the siege, and they said it was always weird to them that during a siege you would lose exactly the same amount of troops or health for single entities every single turn. So they're fine with giving defenders less attrition to start off, but ramping it up over time, and I believe that's the plan, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this again came slightly from the removal of the pocket ladders,
Yep.
but it's also something we wanted to tackle more in a while. I know there have been a few updates to siege attrition, and we have been trying to make sure it fits the right spot. We don't want settlements to be taking like 15 turns to surrender to attrition and stuff like that. But we also don't want the attrition to be kicking off immediately from turn one. Now we want to have players take a turn or two to build up some siege equipment, because with the lack of the pocket ladders, it is going to feel a little more different. Again, with certain types of units or characters that have siege decker and so on, you can start attacking without having built any siege equipment, but it is going to be a little bit harder and trickier.
Yep.
Again, as I said, we've changed the way, well, not the way you recruit, but basically the cost of siege equipment.
Yep.
So to be a bit cheaper, so now you will be able to get more siege equipment earlier, so that you can start off the actual assault earlier.
Brilliant. I did see someone, and I wasn't sure if we go to it if we'd had time or if we want to jump into the build. I did see someone saying, why do we only take comments from Reddit? We did take comments from the forums for the first section. We did have a comment from the forums for this one. The only real top post was a vote of stuff that people wanted to see, and what people wanted a siege rework to be good. Unfortunately, we had to take this quite early to get it in time here, so we didn't get a huge amount of votes captured on there from the forums. But from here, you can see it looks like people generally were agreeing with the direction of this first beta of what we're trying to do. Some new proposals being pretty popular, of stuff like building small towers or barricades, not during it, which is, as you were saying, something that you've managed to sneak in there. So those being the most popular ones, the way that we're going is pretty good.
It's actually interesting the way our thinking was for the ladders as new siege equipment. Immediately when we decided we want to remove the pocket ladders, we were thinking about, well, okay, how are we going to implement those ladders back into the game? Because ladders are a thing in sieges. We want people to have ladders, but just not in that way. We initially wanted to implement them really quick and easy by just giving it as a buildable siege equipment, and have certain units have like an icon or something like this on top of them that shows that this unit has ladders. It can use them just like the way they are being used now. But this didn't really feel right, because it really breaks the immersion that you do not see those units actually carrying the ladders towards the settlement. And so that's why we strayed away from this direction and wanted to do something that is a bit more hard to do on our part, but feels better to have a new type of siege equipment that is just ladders. We'll see how we will end up implementing it in the end. We do kind of wanted to be better looking, more animated, the way ladders are being lifted up. Currently it's very static, but you will see that it's just a placeholder model. It's not...
if you want, we can twizzle on over there right now and show the people what we've been, I guess, teasing for about an hour, which is showing off some of that proving grounds. If Mr. Oh, he's already done it. Didn't even need to ask. Right, I'm just going to get the game set up. So chat, feel free to say hello to Milkshow and be very nice to him. All right, I think we are good to go. Let's see. Hopefully you guys will very shortly be able to see the game. So Mucho, I think what we were planning on starting off was just showing people that toggle you were talking about.
Yeah, sure. It is a toggle in the options menu. You can toggle it on or off before the campaign, during the campaign.
Yep.
There is a separate toggle in custom battles. Initially, we were thinking that maybe something like this is not going to be needed for the proving grounds, because technically in the proving grounds, we want to see how people would react to playing without ladders.
Yep.
But we decided that it's actually going to be much better for people to be able to very quickly and easily switch between the two modes and see how it feels, and just give them the option to try and play this way or the other way. In the end, we want people to have the most fun possible, and if they prefer the old way of playing, then they should be able to.
Brilliant. Well then, my save here called "Use This Save." We're gonna load up. I just wanted an early game siege, and honestly, Thoric Ironbrow has made this so difficult to do. So we're gonna see if he interferes with this, but if not, hopefully we'll be able to get to show you guys a few turns of what a siege looks like. We'll play it. I may win it. We'll see how it goes, and then we'll do a custom battle as Elspeth, I think, to defend, just to show you guys a more full battle from what later in the game would be like.
Yeah, I see you've chosen Corn, and judging by what you talked before that, I guess that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, you got me. Well, so we're gonna besiege Karak Orid here. I haven't even declared war on them yet, which is very uncorn-like of me. I know, because I've played this save a few times, that Thoric Ironbrow just down there is hiding, and he's going to come up and disrupt this. So we've got about 2 turns to besiege here. So what would you recommend that we build right off the gate?
I mean, you can see here that immediately we also have siege ladders that you can build. They're going to be cheaper than towers, but are also going to be easier to destroy. Units are going to be more vulnerable when pushing those ladders. So all of the siege equipment has its own use.
Yep.
Basically, I would recommend at least 1 battering ram, maybe a few towers, maybe 1 tower, maybe at least 1 or 2 turns to make sure that we get enough siege equipment. This is very early game. We are not going to have too many units or characters that can deal with walls. So we are going to be using those a lot.
Yep.
I'm guessing the battering ram, if we build just 1, it might be quite important. So we might need to sacrifice some units as we approach the settlement to make sure that a battering ram is not destroyed by the enemy. But yeah, this looks like a good start.
All right. Well, we'll continue from there. We'll see what we get made, and we will all pray that this little dwarf down here doesn't pop up to try and disrupt us. Let's have a look. And I think as well, Mitch, so that, correct me if I'm wrong, but the feedback we're looking for the proving grounds, it's not, oh, here he is. It's not all or nothing, right? We want to know what aspects people like of this, what they think's working, what direction they want to see us go in.
Yeah. That's absolutely the case. This is the whole idea behind those proving grounds, is to check out what's people's opinion on them, and hopefully later on we are going to integrate those changes into the live game and keep on iterating, keep gathering feedback, keep going back to the drawing board wherever there is need to, and just see what is the best that we can do to make those sieges feel better.
Absolutely. And you can see here, they've taken very little attrition compared to what they usually would have taken, right?
Yes, because the attrition now ramps up. If there is almost no attrition the first turn or 2, but it will slowly start ramping up. And by turn 6 or 7, if the siege keeps on going, they're going to start getting real bad attrition.
So what do you think? Do we get a second battering ram just for safety?
I mean, I honestly don't know how well you play the battles.
Oh, no.
That depends. Technically, some units can still destroy gates.
Yep.
Some would be better than others. There are actually a few tweaks we are looking onto improving there as well to make gates a bit harder to destroy, not just from the point of view of how much health they have, but that's, again, for another time. But yeah, it's hard for me to say. Technically, with this army, it should not be that much of a problem, depending on what Torque
All right.
has to say about it.
We'll see then. Hopefully he's not fast enough to get over here. I'm pretty sure we've got one turn.
Don't question dwarves on our speed.
Oh no. Here he comes. Hopefully he stops just there. He goes. All right, we're getting in just before he gets involved. I will tell you, the campaign after this battle will go very poorly for Scarbrand, because that is a full 20 stack army of dwarves. And all I did was focus on getting here as quickly as possible.
This is
like,
turn
It's turn 8,
now?
and look at, I am not going to be able to deal with that the
By
next turn.
turn 8, you should have a lot more stuff.
Oh,
with
look,
Scarbrand.
look, I went over here, and I thought I would fight these orcs, and I built a full army, and then I thought, this is too easy. I can't go on stream and just absolutely butcher some orcs. So I'll tone it down a bit, I'll disband some of the units, and then Thoric turns up with his 20 stack, and suddenly my army's got absolutely no chance against anything other than this settlement. So we can see here, they've taken a bit more attrition, and we're ready to go into the battle, right?
Yeah, let's do it. I do feel a bit weird, like an armchair general that is just looking here.
Hey, look, you focus on talking about your siege changes. I'll focus on trying to not like an absolute idiot. For context, chat, I have about 980 hours on Warhammer 3. I play it on hard campaign and normal battle. So that's what you can expect from me. I like to fight lots of enemies and probably beat them. I think these are the settings this is on as well. So immediately we're in. I don't have to fear these towers as much, right? They've not got as long a range as they would usually have.
Yeah, so one of the changes we've done to towers is they're actually a bit more deadly right now.
Yep.
The damage has been improved, so that once you get closer to the walls, it is going to be a bit harder for you.
Yep.
But they're not going to have a reduced range, which means you are going to be able to maneuver around the settlement a bit more, and it's not going to be as easy for them to be shooting at you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to set up here just to plan to take out 2 gates. I think they don't have many ranged units here. I'm also going to have to get some people piling up onto these. I'm assuming I'll be able to get ladders in all of these little slots.
Yes, basically the ladders are going to work just like towers, or the old ladders, where the same spots that you were able to place the old ladders are going to be available again. But now you will need to build them and before the siege itself, and they can be destroyed on the approach depending on what the defenders have.
And I can see they're going to be a lot more exposed than those people in the siege tower, right?
Yes, absolutely. But if the ladder itself gets destroyed, the entities that you have in the unit are not going to suffer as much as they do when they're in a tower, if it is being destroyed.
All right, well, let's get this party started and see what damage we can do. I'm hoping to get some harassment going with these Furies. I am not the best micromanager, so we'll see how that goes. But if we can harass some of these range units, that would be nice. So what's this tower range looking like? So that's not too bad. That is pretty deadly, though. They're really targeting in on Scarbrand, which I don't blame them. Reminds me of the early 3K days.
Yes. Depending on the difficulty that you are playing, they might be or not be targeting characters more.
Okay.
Because the AI does change slightly the
Yep.
difficulty, and we might be looking to do some more improvements there. But again, that's for very...
So these are our placeholder ladders.
Yes, this is a very placeholder model. Please don't judge it. It's not very Khorne-like.
It's doing its best to prove the concept.
It is the same. It is the same model for all factions right now. We are mainly testing the gameplay functionality of those ladders. There were some internal discussions of whether should we actually display it like that. Would players be okay with having something that is so placeholder? But yeah, I do firmly believe that that is the case.
Interestingly, they seem to be a bit slower as well than these siege towers.
Yes, but they're also much easier to build.
Yeah, I saw they were what, a 3 versus the 7 resource, the manpower required for these.
Yes.
Oh, he's taking his time. How far Scarbrand got? Oh, he might even get there before the battering ram does.
And keep in mind that all the stats about towers,
Yep.
ladders, how much fatigue do units take when they're climbing up ladders and stuff like that is still subject to change.
Yep.
We are constantly doing internal playtesting to make sure that we get those numbers right. But again, the feedback from the beta is going to be quite invaluable to us to make sure that we do the best possible job.
Yes, and there was something you wanted us to show off, which I'm trying to get into place here, of people going up, but not always going up. Here we go. So we've got our blood letters going up, right? And if we, again, guys, this is for us to test things with you in development. So we want them to come back down, don't we?
Yeah, so there is currently, as I said, a big bug. They are going to start using some weird animations as they go back down, but now no longer, at least, they don't need to go all the way up for every single unit before they can come down. So they can now come down ladders, and we do promise to fix the animation bug.
Yeah,
we will. Possible. Maybe even for the beta itself, because the final build is not yet ready. We are currently playing a slightly earlier version.
We are, yeah. So this is still, you can see it says development in progress. There's still stuff cooking here, and we'll talk to you guys about what you've seen and what we've got working on at the moment.
Yes, and we are looking for feedback, not just for the battle itself, because that's of course going to be the most important thing, but for how the campaign feels and how does the AI attack you on campaign, how much siege equipment it builds, do you feel it's right or wrong, what do you feel is being wrong, do you feel like you're lacking the availability of siege equipment on campaign too much, too little, or is it too easily available? All that is still going to be quite important for us.
And you know what? I saw it on some of the Reddit comments as well, because people have played this game for 10 years, right? They have ways that they like this game to work and that they like to play this game. We don't want to just rush in and change kind of fundamental core concepts of how things work without careful consideration of do people like this? Do people prefer this over how it worked before? So make sure that you guys are sharing your feedback and having a go on the Proving Grounds. I think it's always a continual push from us of, can we get more people onto the Proving Grounds, right? To give their feedback so we can see what they're thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, as I said before, we do not claim that with this beta we fixed sieges. That's obviously not the case. This is going to be a big work in progress. We're looking to do a lot of improvements to garrisons, how garrisons work, how they are distributed around, how the whole system with the dynamic building of defenses works and all that. So as we already talked about, the way units can get over walls. So there's a lot more coming down the road, hopefully, as long as we get those first steps right.
I think I can see some people who spotted in chat, even when we first initially sieged, that Scarbrand didn't have siege attacker, so he couldn't have just taken this place on his own.
So yes, some characters have had the siege attacker removed from them. We are also looking on improving some other stuff in their skill trees there, but this is again for another time.
Okay. So you're saying there's the possibility siege attacker would be in the skill tree?
Not exactly, but we are exploring a possibility to have some initial siege equipment be available to start with. I know that some factions in particular, like Beastmen, for example, are going to have a bit of a hard time at the start of the campaign when they have to attack walled settlement. And we are trying to make sure that that works.
I imagine.
Of course, we haven't removed siege attacker from factions like ogres, because I mean that would be quite weird for them, since they don't have any real siege equipment. They don't have ladders. They never did. So we are trying to make sure that all factions are functioning well.
Brilliant. So yeah, I guess that'll be part of the feedback, right? Is if you feel siege attackers have been removed from places that really need siege attacker, that's worth letting us know. God, we've really got a proper melee up on these walls, haven't we? Orcs versus demons is quite the...
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let me have a very quick look over at chat.
I'm sure both of those factions are having a really great time.
They are. They're all having fun. We won it. There we go. The very first Rally Point Live game has been won instead of me ending up crying in the corner, publicly humiliated. And all thanks to your coaching, Milcho. All thanks to
I
your
didn't really do much
No,
coaching.
it was the emotional support. That's what's done it for me. Well, shall we move on to a custom battle with a few more units where we defend as Elspeth and see how things look there? I think we're going to show off one of the reworked siege maps.
Oh, okay. So this is something that we probably didn't mention. So first of all, I wouldn't really use the word
I take it back immediately
because they haven't been changed too much. But we are again starting an initiative, which is basically updating some of the older siege maps. I think we updated Helpit for Skaven and Known for Empire. To have a bit more open spaces, to have the walls be aligned slightly differently, so on. But it's not a huge rework. The settlement is still going to kind of look like it used to do. So yes, and again, this is something we're looking to keep on doing.
Yep.
A very important thing that we're looking feedback on in this beta is I want you to look at those 3 maps that we've updated.
Yep.
See how good those updates are, because they're not really huge updates.
Yep.
But technically, for us, updating 3 maps like that is close to, not exactly, maybe a bit lower, but still close to creating a new layout for some old faction. Like, for example, a new layout for the Lizardman, completely new siege. And this is something that we also want to do at some point, but we want to hear the feedback of what should we focus on more. I know that new layouts could be quite important, but we don't want to leave some of the siege maps that can be problematic in one way or another in the state that they currently are. So we need to make sure we are focusing our resources in the right places.
Absolutely. So Null. So I know Black Fortress is one of those, correct?
I think so. Yes, I think the other one was the Black Fortress for the Greenskins.
Helpit for Skaven.
Helpit, yeah, Helpit. I believe received the biggest amount of changes because there we have really we technically made the settlement itself a bit smaller, because we didn't feel like there was a need to fight in so many different places. We've opened up some spaces to have, especially towards the approach for the final victory point. To not.
We can give it a little look while you're talking if you want.
Of course, of course, absolutely.
I won't play this one, but we'll just have a look round. It would feel too weird to be defending Helpit against Queek. I just, break the law, so we'll have a look. We'll play maybe on Null.
You're playing with Elspeth against Queek?
I know, and we're defending it. I mean, this is the fantasy of Total War.
You've taken it from, but Queek is not okay. So the biggest change is the first section of the walls, that the outer section. They are now quite different. This used to be a settlement right here that you are right now. This used to be part of the settlement with buildings and all that. Now the settlement is a lot smaller. There are some changes on the backside as well towards the victory point. Some spaces have been made more open. Like for example, the approach that is from the back has been made wider. The one on the right, the one on the right has also been made wider here before the bridge. So you will need to, if you compare the 2 maps one to another, you can notice the differences more easily. If you haven't played them too much, it will be technically quite hard to notice all the things that we made. But our idea here is that we want, once units are inside the settlements, to have more space for maneuvering and more tactical options for the players, for both the attacker and the defender. We don't want players to just be blocking off choke points that are right next to the victory point or something like that. That can't be completely eliminated. Of course, players can still block. There are always going to be choke points in settlements, but we are trying to make them less frustrating, more interesting, and at least offer more options.
Brilliant. Well, we will jump back out of this. Nearly exit to Windows there. Shall we show off Null then? Do a little bit of the battle there. We've got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah, we can. For the Null, we have made some changes that we've opened up another flank for attack, basically. for the settlement. If you can see here the small mini map, the whole eastern section of the settlement is now also attackable.
Oh yeah.
So you don't technically need to cross the river if you want to assault the victory point. Again, those depends on how you look at it. Those can be minor updates or really big ones, but this is what we want to hear your opinion on.
And I think worth calling out here as well. The insta ladders, again, a toggle here in custom
Yes.
battle. So
In custom battle.
wherever you would fight a battle in a siege, you can toggle it. It wouldn't be funny to toggle it on, so I will not toggle it on. All right, I've got my army. I'm ready to start. If you're ready to commentate, let's gun down some rats.
Also, it is the Skaven who are taking Nuln.
See, now this makes
pretty lore accurate.
Yeah. Everyone wants Nuln. They got all the best guns.
Once Nurgle starts attacking, that's when.
Yeah, very true. All right, so what have we got here? We've got. Oh no, I did give them siege equipment. So we got a couple of ladders here. And we got a couple of siege towers.
Yeah.
A battering ram. And they have really spread themselves out quite nicely.
Yeah, so this flank over here, for example, this is something completely new that we've added. The settlement was inaccessible before from this side. Also, you can now try and trick the AI by maneuvering some troops here without them being seen because there are some forests around and so on. But the AI will be reacting. Again, as I said, we've done tons of fixes and updates to the AI to make sure it is reacting more adequately in sieges specifically. So
I hope chat aren't going to be horrified, but this is how I play battles, especially sieges. I just stick everything in the middle and then I work out bit by bit where I want everyone to go. So I hope that isn't
now
heresy.
when the AI doesn't have pocket ladders, you can very easily spot where they are going to be attacking and where they can enter the settlement.
Exactly.
Now, of course, this can change if they bring in the big guns, cannons, destroy sections of the walls, and so on.
Yeah, over here it looks like this Hell Pit Abomination might be coming for my gate
yes,
anyway.
So most probably for the gate. But yeah, now you can plan more accordingly to that. And again, depends on the battle. It's, I dare say, more worth it to defend the walls than before, for sure. You can still decide to just hold up inside the settlement. There is nothing stopping you from doing something like this. But we do want to leave those decisions up to the player and make sure that we at least give them a good option when it comes to defending on the walls. And I do dare say that it is pretty viable to start defending on the walls right now, especially depending on how much siege equipment the enemy has brought. What kind of units do you have? Can you destroy their siege equipment? Because especially with some units, that could happen a lot easier. As I said before, ladders are easier to destroy, so that could be something that is part of your plan.
Yes.
And if they don't have ladders and don't have anything to crush your gates or walls, they can't enter the settlement and can't win.
Well, I'm trying to both listen to you, absorb your knowledge, and set up a siege here in a way that I think makes some logical sense. At least it makes sense to me. We're spread quite thin. They've really come at me from all sides here. So
for me, because I'm not looking at the stream directly, it is
You're
a
just
little hard.
Hearing my slow panic.
For me to see what exactly you're currently
then
doing.
Don't worry. The chat is saying that I'm setting up an absolutely fantastic spectacle here. They're saying this is some of the best siege defense they've ever seen in a Total War title. So just take my word for it. They're pretty.
You're
they're
missing
pretty confident.
some mortars and cannons.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to bring what felt like a fair army in, like what an army I'd actually have on the campaign map, rather than one that I've built just to annihilate Skaven. But in doing so, I have not brought enough guns, and that has become immediately apparent that I need more guns. So we'll see how that goes for me.
None needs to be defended by a lot of guns specifically. It's more accurate.
It is. So we'll see how these towers do for me. I'm hoping they're going to do a lot of work, you know. Other than that, it's just going to be the dragon, I think, going to have to take on some of the heavy lifting here.
And there needs to be at least one siege tank in the settlement.
Oh, yeah. I didn't bring one because I thought it would make things too easy. But I'm looking at this and I'll be fine. You know, I've won harder battles than this. And besides, look, we've got 6 minutes, so if I start to lose, we'll cut the stream.
Okay.
Those towers are doing a ton of damage to that hell pit as well, which is lovely to see. Shame I couldn't really.
Yeah, we do want towers to feel dangerous, to feel important when you're defending a settlement, and also when you're attacking a settlement. When you're facing those towers, you need to feel threatened by it. But we didn't think that it's an amazing experience to start getting shot at immediately after you deploy your forces.
Yeah.
You're already in their shooting range. That didn't feel quite right. So that's why we've done some changes to them.
Fantastic.
And we are looking to do further improvements, as I said, for some settlements. We've changed some placements of towers and so on.
I'd like to clarify for the chat as well. I gave myself the highest tier level settlement, and I think this has worked out maybe a little too well for me because these towers are monsters.
Yeah, if it is the highest tier level,
Oh,
they
yeah,
are
this
going
is
to be quite powerful.
This is Nuln as it was meant to be. They have still managed to breach though, so you know, I managed to destroy one siege tower, and I think my my handgunners might finish off these plague monks. But these towers are very strong at tier 4, which is it's nice to see. Although that hell pit, he took a few hits, but he's going to break through. And really, I should have my men down here because all I've got is a bunch of grenade launchers ready for him when he comes in. This is the plan. He pops in, and I just hit him with a bunch of grenades, and then we hope that somehow kills him.
I mean, it's not always easy for the Empire to stop an abomination, but depending on what you have exactly in the settlement.
Yeah, I think I actually may have made this a little too easy for myself. But you know what? I'll take too easy over looking like a fool. So, any other thoughts you've got on the siege rework as we're kind of hitting towards the end of the stream, Milcho? Anything that you want to ask people to particularly look at?
I've already talked about a lot of stuff, so I would prefer if there were any specific questions in the chat.
Absolutely.
That I can answer.
Honestly,
directly.
I think I can just let this play out for itself. So I'm happy to grab any questions from chat if they have any.
Mm-hmm. I can't see chat.
That's fine. I'll read out for them. So I'll see if there's anything commonly coming in. Someone said, "Will it be possible to destroy every wall in a siege now, or are some still invincible?"
No, we haven't made changes to the walls from how they were before for this battle. So you can expect to be able to destroy the same types of walls that you were before that.
Just waiting.
There have been no changes there yet.
Yep. Having a look as well. Someone's asking if siege equipment could be put behind a technology.
I mean, that's a possibility.
Yep.
Currently, we don't have such plans because especially when it comes to the ladders, we do believe that they're a bit more essential in the early game and we don't want to lock them behind technology.
Yep.
Also, for some factions, technologies can work quite differently. So locking them in there also doesn't feel exactly right. Now, for the towers, maybe, but at this point we don't want to change to change something like this. A better idea, well, not saying better, but another idea that we've had that I kind of touched upon is that I did say skill trees, but it might be under technologies as well, where we could do a technology that gives you some starting siege equipment when that allows you to siege a settlement immediately on turn 1 and start a battle.
Okay.
Maybe.
I think there was there's definitely been some talk around and honestly I know I've murdered my own guys. It was part of the plan. It's all the master plan. I think there was some talk. I really did choose Scarbrand just because I really like playing Khorne. But I think there was a lot of discussion over him losing siege attacker, blood hosts as well, losing siege attacker possibly.
Yeah, those are some things that we need to make sure we get right, because I did mention Beastman, but Scarbrand is also one of those factions that needs to be able to attack settlement. You can't really afford to siege a settlement for a long time with Scarbrand because due to the nature of his campaign, that could be quite devastating to him. But yeah, this is the kind of things that we want feedback on. Is that now impossible for Scarbrand to play? Do we need to give him siege attacker? Definitely. maybe removing it from Scarbrand is not the right idea.
But that's
This
the
is
point of the
exactly
proving grounds,
why.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
this is exactly why we want to do.
So the
proving
more of
grounds.
you who play it, the more of you who give feedback, the more we can confidently make those decisions. I honestly, in true Skaven style, I completely forgot about this back gate. And they've burst through, and they're running amok in here. I sat here and I just started reading chat. I wasn't even really playing at that point, and I have really let them just go ahead. So someone was asking if there's any, and I've seen this discussed quite a bit, if there's any changes planned for buildable towers and barricades. I know that even early on in development, we kind of experimented with, are they pre-battle? Are they during battles?
Yes, we are. As I said, it was mentioned on the blog post as well. This is one of the next things that we are looking to further improve. But our next specific focus is going to be, well, first of all, mostly on the feedback that we get from these proving grounds.
Yep.
But then secondly, as I already mentioned, on the garrisons and the way they are distributed, what kind of units are included in there, are there any characters in the garrisons or things like that. So this is going to be our next focus for the siege, at least our current way of thinking, which might change depending on the feedback. And then the barricades, internal towers, and all those things are something further on into the changes that come with sieges.
Yep. There were questions as well. I think people wondering if the garrisons have been changed, but I don't think there's been anything major outside of that blog.
No. We still haven't started on that change. There haven't been any specific changes to the garrisons. So yeah, we'll expect more on that, more in the future.
I think it's what you outlined at the end of that blog, right? This is the first step. Sieges are such a fundamental part of the game. We need to get them right. That's why we're not just pushing this live and saying enjoy. It's test these things, test all of these elements out, give feedback. I believe there's forms built into the game menu. Konstantin will correct me if I'm wrong, but the forms are built into the menu. You give your feedback there. We'll take that. We'll analyze it. That goes straight to you guys, right? To the Sophia, the Horsham teams. You work together. You come up with what the best solution is, and we try again.
Absolutely. And as it was mentioned in the blog, one of the next things that we really want to focus on when it comes to battles, even though it's not exactly the battles themselves, is how the auto-resolver works. Not just when it comes to sieges, but all the other stuff.
Yep.
So this is another thing that we are going to be focusing on. And those two things are kind of connected,
yep,
more or less, if I could use that word. So it is going to be another huge challenge for us. So we are working on improving those sieges on several fronts, like AI, auto-resolver, and the gameplay mechanics themselves.
And we'll have, correct me if I'm wrong, we'll have some more detailed notes coming out just before the Proving Grounds are live. Is that right? Or with the Proving Grounds?
I think so. I do hope so.
We'll see.
If we're doing exact patch notes about what exactly has changed, how much exactly the range has been reduced for towers, how much damage has been increased, what are those on the block it just says over 50 battle AI changes. What are those 50 battle AI changes? We'll probably make a list and post it to you guys.
Brilliant. Well, I think that is all we have time for. Thank you so much for joining us, Milcho. That was fascinating.
It was a pleasure.
To have you.
I do really love to talk about the game, love to play it, and love to hear your opinion on those changes.
Absolutely. I, as my end of stream admin, I will apologize about the audio levels. My mic sometimes coming out, the game audio being very low. It is here, but it's I think 5% I can see on my little pip. So we'll have a look at that. We'll fix it. I mean, it's been 2 years since we streamed, so here's to 10 more of it where this is the only one with a low mic issue, I'm sure. I'm also told we were at 720p on Twitch. You can watch the VOD back on YouTube at 1080. We will be at 1080 next time on Twitch. We have to get that set up as well. Any other feedback you guys have about the streams, we absolutely invite it. So, I'm on Discord. You can shoot me a message. I think you'll go into my message request, and as long as you're not mean to me, I will have a chat with you about your feedback there and what you want to see, really. Milcho, thank you very much. I'm gonna let you go now so that we can wrap up the stream. But thank you for joining, and hopefully it's not too long before we see you again.
Yep. Again, it's been a pleasure, and I guess I'll be here more often.
Hopefully so. Well, thank you very much, everyone. That was the very first Total War Rally Point Live. We will be back next week with Total War Live, which is the kind of sister version of these streams. It'll be casual. It'll be me playing probably about as well as I just did. Although, do you know what? This looks really good for me on the screen right now, even if in the battle it felt quite chaotic. It'll be me. I think it's Will Hackerstad joining. He's the guy you know from drawing the very funny patch note unit icons. So we'll have a chat about that, and we'll chat about 6.2 and what he's worked on. So thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you next week.